Okay, so I had left off and I was talking about the arrest of Stephen F. Austin. He sent a letter back to Texas from Mexico saying that they needed to establish a state government, and that letter was intercepted, and that's why he was arrested for treason. Let's move on to significant individuals of the Texas Revolution. First, we have a guy named George Childress. George Childress chaired the committee in charge of writing the Texas Declaration of Independence. He is considered to be the author of the Texas Declaration of Independence. Lorenzo de Zavala helped write the Texas Declaration of Independence and helped design the ad interim government at Washington on the Brazos. And he was elected vice president of the new republic. James Fannin led the Texans at Salado Creek and surrendered to Urea. Later, he was executed at Goliad by order of Santa Anna. Sam Houston is the leader of the Revolutionary Army. During the Texas Revolution, and he's the leader of the Texas Army. San Antonio de Santa Anna was a dictator of Mexico and a military leader of the Mexican army during the Texas Revolution. Juan Seguin is the only known survivor of the Alamo. He served with Travis, but survived because he was sent out as a courier. Ooh, that's one of our vocabulary words. He was sent out as a courier or messenger to warn Sam Houston about the events at the Alamo. He continued to serve under Sam Houston at the Battle of San Jacinto. William Barrett Travis is a military leader of the Texas forces at the Alamo, and he was killed by Mexican forces after the siege of the Alamo. Okay, so next page. Next, we're going to talk about significant events. The Battle of Gonzales is the first battle of the Texas Revolution, beginning on October 2nd in 1835. Citizens of Gonzales would not give up a cannon that had been given to them by the Mexican government to protect themselves from American Indians. A militia leader led by J.H. Moore flew a flag over the cannon which said, "Come and take it." Lieutenant Francisco Casanita led 100 men to Gonzales to take the cannon. The militia fired the cannon on October 2nd at the Mexican soldiers. A battle began, and so did the Texas Revolution. The next person that we're going to talk about is William Barrett Travis. And he writes the Travis's letter from the Alamo. And this is kind of what makes the Alamo so famous. He says, "To the people of Texas and all Americans in the world." That's who it was addressed to. And this letter was written to recruit men to help him and his men at the Alamo after Santa Anna showed up in San Antonio. Oh, wait, I didn't get that blank right. Santa Anna showed up in San Antonio on February 23rd. That's 1836, in case you didn't know. The Siege of the Alamo is a major event. All the defenders who gave their lives there are absolutely important to Texas. Sam Houston had actually ordered the Alamo to be destroyed. It had belonged to Mexico, and Sam Houston knew that the Mexican army was going to come back for the Alamo, and so he ordered it to be destroyed, but James Bowie and James Neal decided that the Alamo was just too important. James Bowie and William Travis began to recruit supporters to save the Alamo, and then Santa Anna arrived in San Antonio as they're recruiting people to stay at the Alamo. The Texans moved into the Alamo, the actual church building, and they tried to fight off the entire grounds of the mission for 13 days. They tried to fight the Mexican army. The fall of the Alamo occurred in the morning of March 6th, 1836, which is why it was dawn in that picture that we looked at. It wasn't in the middle of the day, and it wasn't in the middle of the night. There were 1,800 Mexican troops that fought against approximately 189 Texans, which is why when we had our vocabulary game, there were so few people on one team because they represented the Texans in the Battle of the Alamo. They were insanely outnumbered. Okay, let's move on. All the Texans were killed. Approximately 600 Mexican soldiers were also killed, which is a lot considering that only 189 Texans were even at the Alamo. That seems like a really large number. Okay, so next we have something called a Constitutional Convention of 1836. And at this Constitutional Convention, the Texas delegates meet at Washington on the Brazos, and they declared independence from Mexico on March 2nd, 1836. They wrote a constitution to form an ad interim government. This means temporary. And this would be for the Republic of Texas. Fannin, Colonel James Fannin, he's not the brightest of crayons. He surrendered his 300 men at the Battle of Toledo because he was pinned on an open prairie. So he decided to take a break in the middle of an opening. The Mexicans saw him, they surrounded him, and he surrendered. The Texans tried to fight the Mexicans off, but Fannin decided to surrender to prevent more deaths. The captives were marched to Goliad, and Uria, who is the Mexican leader, was told that they were not going to be killed. Or he told them that they weren't going to be killed, but then Santa Anna ordered the captives all to be shot on March 21st. So they surrendered. They thought that they would just be held captive, but then Santa Anna didn't want to keep captives. He just decided to kill everyone. The Battle of San Jacinto is the last battle of the Revolution, and it's also the shortest battle in history. It happened on April 21st of 1836. Sam Houston led the Texas forces of 800 men, and Santa Anna led the Mexican forces of 1,300 men. During the battle, Houston burned every way out of San Jacinto and then attacked the army around 3 p.m. The battle lasted a total of 18 minutes. Santa Anna was captured, and the next day he surrendered to Sam Houston. And those are your notes. Have a wonderful day.